So I'm going to show, we're going to go to I want to show you a foundation commercial, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Oh, hi there. I'm Patrick Flynn with the Ronde Hospital Foundation, and I am planning the next big fundraising event for the foundation projects. Now, normally we would get all dressed up and have a nice formal evening with a great meal and entertainment and hear about the latest projects that the foundation has in store. But we're not doing that this year. We're doing something different. We're going to the fairgrounds! So join us on Saturday, July 9th at 6 p.m. from the ground up at the Union County Fairgrounds for our next fundraising event. We've got mobile food trucks and cornhole and ladder ball, axe throwing, and dueling DJs. And if that's not enough for you, we've got a golden ticket raffle.
Golden ticket? I'm not convinced.
You want more? Well, we've got an exclusive first look at the biggest project Foundation.
What is the biggest project? Just tell me.
Well, just buy your tickets and come on out on July 9th at 6 p.m. Tickets are on sale now.
All right. We're back. I'm going to take Doddsy out until we know we got something from him. But let me, while we kind of iron out some of our wrinkles.
We're good.
Okay.
I think I figured it out. I forgot I turned my speakers all down on the computer.
Yeah, I know. I messaged you that in private chat and sent it. Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at Gabe's weather here, see what he has for us today.
Heading into the day on Tuesday, those temperatures will top out into the mid to the upper 50s towards the central part of our region, while the rest of us will top out into the low to mid 60s, as we will see shower activity up towards the north, but very few of those showers will make it down towards the south. So many areas out that way should just remain dry as a mix of clouds and sun continue. Heading into the day on Tuesday for Grande, it does look like this will start out into mid-40s at 9 o'clock with rain showers, but that will gradually decrease throughout the day as we open up more sun breaks, becoming completely dry by the evening, as we have a westerly flow take place much of the day, gusting up to about 30 miles per hour in spots. Heading into my short-term forecast for the Grand Ronde Valley, tracking a high of about 58 for Tuesday, drop into the upper 30s overnight, much warmer and dry into Wednesday as we see a decent amount of sunshine in the mix.
So, well, I thought here we go. It's
nice outside today.
I mean, it's not too hot. Hopefully, it will keep like it is and just be kind of a nice day. So
what finally woke me up was the sunlight coming through the window.
It was chilly this morning. I mean, it's just been crazy cold. So just really, really strange and unseasonably. Well, hey, do you have anything to talk about with sports?
Sports wise? Let's see. Let me think. There's not anything extra going on. Cole Jorgensen, let's see, Devin Bell and Nick Bornstead will play in the high school baseball all-star game next Saturday and that's in I think that's at North Marion High School. So all three of them from LeGrand have been invited to play in that all-star game, and that's really it. I mean, there's that 8-man football all-star game this weekend at 7 up at EOU, and the 6-man on Friday at 7, I believe, as well. I saw somebody like Eastern Oregon Sports shared like a flyer for it, but besides for that, there's not much going on sports wise. I mean, it's the end of the year, everybody's graduated, things are kind of culminating. So
yeah. Did you go to EOU's? Did you get into the graduation on?
No.
Yeah, because
I watched it online instead.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have got in. I mean, I got some pull up there, but there was a lot of people that were really pissed off.
Yeah, because they changed the venues. It was outside, ended up being inside, so they greatly had to reduce it. Hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully with the new facility, whenever that is finished, that'll resolve those kinds of issues. That'd be great.
good afternoon. Really, bud? I might have been a little late, but I was here at 8:00. I got here. BC started the show early just to make me look bad.
No, I started the show late. I started the show at 3 till.
I'm
Dude.
just messing around.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Hey, you can look at my phone. The alarm was on, and however many times you called, BC, like 18. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I think sometimes I just get into such a deep sleep, like nothing will wake me up. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well,
of course you couldn't.
Elaine LaRochelle is with us today. She is the facility director for Grande Hospital, and she'll be with us right after this little intro. Hey, Elaine, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, good. Welcome to the jungle. So yeah, and shift yourself a little bit one way or the other. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know this is always just a little bit of a strange atmosphere, and we were hoping to be in the studio today, but we're just not quite there. We did a show in the studio for the first time last night after COVID. I guess we've done one other and stuff, but we're trying to get there. So thanks for still being in this compartmentalized situation that we have. It's not because of COVID that we're doing this. It's because it's just the production is much easier if everybody has their own camera and their own lighting and stuff. So, well, Elaine, it seems like you have been the facilities director for quite a while now. Is that right?
That's true. I have worked for Grande Hospital since 2000, but I've been the director of facilities since 2008.
Okay. And the director of facilities also then manages the construction projects that are going on at the hospital, or that kind of falls under your category.
It does.
And
yes.
And that has been a moving target through the years.
Very much. Yes. Never dull.
Yeah, because you're always looking for places for offices. I mean, I can only imagine how daunting that task is from time to time.
Oh, it's fun. It's not daunting. I can't make everybody happy, but we certainly try to accommodate. And our goal is always, how can we best, serve our patients that are coming in, and making the environment so the staff there can do their jobs.
Yeah. And so there's this huge project that is going on. I mean, this is kind of the king of all renovations that's happening, that's coming into the scope of Grande Hospital. And maybe you can we've had some press releases about that. We're working internally on some videos to promote that and explain that in a little greater depth. So we're not letting anything out of the cat out of the bag, but the reason you're here today is to specifically talk about the way that that's going to affect traffic patterns, and that construction is going to affect traffic patterns and such up by the hospital. But maybe first of all, just talk a little bit about what that project is, and then also how it is going to affect traffic.
Okay, thank you. The project has been a many years in preparation, and it ultimately is, we're building a new surgery center that will be state of the art. It'll meet every code that needs to be met as far as air exchanges. It's going to be a great place for our surgeons to work in, and it's going to be a much more private experience for our patients. Currently, our surgery services are spread out on the first floor, and it's not always as private as we would like, and you as the patient would like. And so this will make a private experience. You'll check into the surgery center, have any surgery that you have for the day. You will stay in that surgery center. The beds will be contingent with the ORs, and when you leave, you check out. So, and the bedsides will have the great view of our beautiful valley. But it's a big project, and we're really excited to bring this to Grande.
So right now, where you check into the surgery center and where the operating rooms, the ORs actually are, they're separated by some distance then.
They are. You check into your bed for the day when you come in the morning, and then to actually access the ORs, you're wheeled down a public corridor that public can be into going to other pieces of the hospital. So you go down that corridor, and then you get into the ORs, and once your surgery is complete, then you're wheeled back down the public corridor to your bed to be processed to go home. And that's not a private experience. We want it to be a private experience. I often see friends and neighbors, and you know, we respect that privacy, but when they start talking to you, that it's not comfortable, and I'm sure a lot of them don't want to be seen in that state. So we try and make that dash down the hallway as quick as possible. But the new surgery center will have its own lobby. You'll check in, you'll get your bed, and you'll go to the ORs without ever leaving that surgery space. It'll all be a contained unit.
Good. And so talk about the construction process that's going to happen and how that's going to affect traffic. We'll come back. We have a rendering of the new addition here in a bit, and we'll come back to that. But
Okay.
Talk for a minute about how that's going to affect traffic and how how people are going to get to the hospital with Sunset, part of Sunset being closed.
Okay. So our construction project, this is huge. I mean, it is the biggest project we've done since we built the hospital, basically. But between K Avenue, which is the entrance to the hospital, and H, which is the other side of the school property, from K to H will be closed. And that reason is safety. We're having a huge tower crane that's going to be coming in that will be lifting material up to the new facility is going to be 5 stories high at its max with the helistop on top. So, and it's going from the edge of our property on Sunset and will be built back and touch the existing hospital behind it to the west. So with the project this big, we're closing down Sunset to vehicle and pedestrian traffic for the duration of the project. So we'll be sending information to patients coming, but if you're coming to the ER, and that's our first concern, is to make sure people know how to get to the ER. If you're coming from the south at 4th Street, you need to go over to N.
Let me pull up a little map, and you can keep talking.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so then to orient people to orient. Yeah, so the hospital is at the bottom. I'm
Yes.
still not saying that. Yeah, the hospital is the bottom of this picture.
So at the top right
yeah.
would be where you would be coming, say, for example, Union. You would come
Okay.
up C Avenue. At 4th Street, you will need to turn and go over to N, and then proceed up N to Alder to Sunset to the entrance to the hospital. And that will be the route to get to the ER and the clinics in the hospital. If you are going to the Regional Medical Plaza and the sports therapy, the sleep clinic, all of those functions on the south side of campus, you will again need to turn at 4th Street and go over to C and come up and hit Sunset off of C. And the reason we're using 4th Street is that is the road that is built to take that kind of traffic. This plan has been worked out with the city, with traffic engineers. So 4th Street is the one that they want to redirect traffic on. And that also keeps you out of the school zone.
Right.
So you're not
exactly. Yeah.
parked up behind 10 moms waiting to pick up kids.
Right.
So if you take 4th Street, it's a clean shot. EMS knows the route. They're going to be using that route also. There will be absolutely no vehicle or foot traffic between K and H on Sunset until this project is completed.
So that yellow mark, that yellow
Yes.
part, that is Sunset where it is closed at.
Yes, and again, also for foot traffic.
Yeah.
But the school has a ADA compliant trail that goes from K to H, and it just goes behind the tennis courts on the west side and also behind the track on the west side. So the foot traffic that I know all of our neighbors use walking down Sunset, that will be shifted to that trail, because the whole area on Sunset will be fenced off. It'll be a construction zone. It won't be safe to be in there. There'll be truck traffic, crane traffic, dropping off of materials. And so we're just going to reroute everybody around that for safety. The biggest point we want to get sure is if you're coming for an appointment, and we'll be sending out information when we do our appointment checkups, is making sure if you're going to the South Campus, which is everything except the hospital, you need to come up C and over to Sunset that way.
Okay.
If you're coming to the ER or you're coming to a hospital function imaging lab, just come up N, making sure you turn at 4th Street to get up there.
Okay.
One of the viewers wants to know if there's lighting at night to walk
On the
like on the
path,
alternate route. Yeah.
I do not think there is much out there on the school grounds. Yeah, there's not too much out there, though. The whole area is, we have our lighting, the city has their lighting. There is a lot of ambient lighting, so it's not pitch black, and it's a very nice trail. I mean, it's ADA compliant, so it's nice and wide, it's level, it's paved. So hopefully it'll keep people safe.
And that trail goes from where the tennis courts are. I mean, describe again where that trail
so if you're on K Avenue and you walk down K, and then to the right, just before the tennis courts, there is a paved path. You take that path, it makes a little jog and then goes down. Once you pass the tennis courts, it stays always to the west and always from the track and the tennis court, and then it pops out on the other side on H Avenue.
Okay.
BC, pull that map back up for a second.
Yeah. Okay.
So this map is looking like if you're at the bottom and you're standing at the hospital, you'd be looking up the map, right?
Yeah, like you're looking out on the valley.
East.
Like you're looking out. Okay.
East.
So yeah, north is to your left from the bottom.
Yes.
I got you. Okay.
Yep. So the school grounds, I know a lot of people walk their dogs. They bring their kids to play. The playground is still accessible. The soccer field is still accessible. All of those activities that people do on that are still accessible. They will just be accessed from K or H, as opposed to, I think there's 2 openings in the fence on Sunset, and those will be blocked off for the duration of the project.
Okay.
So that's that whole block. Whole block that the high school and Central are on.
Yep.
Okay.
It goes from one side of the school property to the other. And so that Sunset access, it will not be
completely blocked off.
Public. Yep.
So talk for a minute, Elaine, why that is necessary. That seems like, I mean, people might not understand, why is it necessary to block off all of Sunset?
The reason is the type of equipment that's coming in. We're bringing in a tower crane, which has, as far as anybody can remember, there's never been one in Grande. And so it's the one you see on top of skyscrapers, the big tall one with the boom that goes around. And that crane can reach from the edge of the hospital over to the school ground. And we are using, the school has let us use a piece of their ground for laydown, and that's where our construction workers will be parking. There's already job trailers out there, and so it can reach that whole yard. It can reach the breadth of Sunset, and we needed around it closed off, so it made no sense to have half of Sunset available because you couldn't go anywhere. You'd go, turn around, and go back. So we're just going to close it from one end of the block to the other, so that people have, even if they forget and they get there, they will have a way to detour and turn down towards the school and go around. We would prefer, and the city would prefer, that they make that reroute decision at 4th Street. But we're not going to be jamming traffic up by letting them go, 20, 30 feet into Sunset into that closed area. So the goal is to just close it off. So we keep people out, we keep cars out. That way the construction workers don't have to worry about traffic control, and we just won't get somebody hurt. We want them to stay out of that construction zone for safety.
So, and I noticed the other day that there was some dirt that was being pushed out on that field near where Central was.
Yes. So
And
we've laid down a barrier so
Okay.
that
Right, I did,
we
yeah.
won't be doing ruts. And then they've brought in basically a gravel mix on that so that we can park those trailers. We can bring supplies in. Construction workers can park. And the goal will be at the end of this, we will pull all of that up and return that area to the shape it is in now. There
Yeah.
is one huge bonus that the public will receive from this project is we are going to be building a 4-stall restroom adjacent to the track and the tennis courts that will be used by construction workers and then turned over to the school so that the public has restrooms on that end of the campus, which they do not have now. So there will be public restrooms that will be GRH's gift for the use of that land, that the public that's at the tracks, that's at the tennis courts, will be able to have those bathrooms available.
So that'll kind of be near K Avenue. That
Yes,
area,
it will
right?
be right behind the tennis courts
Okay.
off of K and
Okay.
just west of the track. So there'll be,
Yeah.
again, 4 stalls. We're also building a little bit of a concession stand in there so that the superintendent has asked that we have that concession stand because a lot of groups that want to come in and supply, do a fundraiser maybe for a track meet that's there, and they'll have that place to do that in that same building.
Very cool.
That's cool.
I can't imagine. So then let's move to what this facility actually, so it's not just privacy. There also are some requirements that are being pushed on the hospital to upgrade their ORs.
Their ORs, yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
our ORs were built in the mid-70s.
Okay.
And they met every code required at that time. They don't now because codes have changed. So rather than wait for something to happen, we are being proactive and building new ORs. Our current ORs are 400 square feet. That's the minimum for ORs now. But our surgeons, when they're doing total joints and all of the fantastic surgeries that we can do, they need more elbow room. And there's a lot of equipment that goes with the new surgeries now. So we're constantly shuttling in and out, depending on the case, what equipment we're going to be using. And this new suite will have 5 new ORs and 2 procedure rooms, which we currently only have 1 of. And all of the equipment will fit in there so nicely, and they won't be bumping elbows. The air exchanges will be what's called now a laminar flow, so meaning nothing blows on the surgical site, but it blows around it to keep things sterile. And so even though we don't have issues with anything yet, we're thinking we need to go there. This is what we need to do. It's also what surgeons coming into. It'll be a very attractant for surgeons to recruit surgeons into our area because these things are going to be state of the art, and they're just going to be they're bigger. We're going to have some that are almost 700 square feet. So your total joints will have all of the room for all of the equipment they need to do a surgery. And the best way to do a surgery is once you go in there with the patient is never open the doors to bring in another piece of equipment. Keep that field sterile because your people are your basic quote dirty things coming in and out. And so if you have to have somebody go get something because now you're to the next stage of a surgery, it's better if it's all in there when you start. And you just do the whole thing, and then when the patient leaves, now you clean that and prep that for the next patient, but you don't have to go in and out to get equipment. And that's huge to keep a sterile environment.
Cool. Well, let's look at this rendering for a minute.
Okay.
And so then what we're looking at the base of this rendering is Sunset Street.
Yes. So you can see there's a set of stairs there to to the side. Those stairs exist. Those come
Okay.
off of H Avenue.
Right.
And so that is going to go from the north side of our regional medical plaza. That parking lot stays intact. And then this building goes from Sunset all the way to about halfway through where the helistop is now. It's
Okay.
huge. It's very huge. We will be doing our deliveries off of Sunset, where currently the trucks have to pull up the main drive and then turn and back down to a wing that they don't fit under. And then everything is unloaded by hand out and then carted to our loading dock.
Right.
And so that first, where you see all those garage doors, that will actually be our deliveries and our refuse, and all of that will be done off of Sunset. The trucks will be able to pull completely off of Sunset, so they will not be blocking traffic. And then you just keep going up. Our surgery center will be in the middle of those big windows you see, and ultimately the helistop will be placed back on top of this building. So we will have our helistop back. We do have to take it down for a period of time to do construction. It's coming down mid-July, and as they do shoring, there's a lot of shoring that's involved. Again, everybody knows the hospital's on a hill, which would not be our favorite place to put it, but it is where it is. So the shoring will be there to make sure it stays stable. That helistop comes back on top, so we'll have that great service of being able to be wheeled directly out of the hospital into the helistop. EMS is working with us to provide temporary transportation from the hospital to the helicopter during this construction phase. So they're already geared up and ready for this. So we appreciate their partnership.
So
Very
where will Lifeline be landing during that time? Because Lifeline flies in and out of here at least once a day.
They do.
Almost. Yeah.
They do. And so EMS will be taking them to, I think we're working on an alternate landing site down by the state police barracks down on Geckler. There's a fenced yard down there that they will be landing in that. So EMS will take them from the hospital to there and meet Life Flight there. They will have the Life Flight provider on the ambulance. So when they take them from, for example, the ER, that Life Flight provider is there. They will ride down with the ambulance crew, and then they'll be transferred into the bird. So we'll see. We're still going to provide that wonderful service that Life Flight brings to our community. They'll just be landing down there.
Good. And that's good. That's not because I know that as you guys have been looking for solutions, and in the past, before there was a helistop, sometimes the light would land on the central field right there. But
They would. They would.
Yeah.
That was normal, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
all the
was,
time.
right? They just took them down there. And the reason we're not doing this right now is at the time we did that, this track at the school was that old asphalt track.
right.
Yep.
And so it really didn't matter. But with the new track that they have, ambulance traffic across that, because you have to land the bird far enough away from any power poles or buildings or anything, they would have to land on the inside of the track. And to get the ambulance to them would mean the ambulance would have to drive across the track.
Right.
That would damage that track, and we don't want to do that. And so it's, again, the person is receiving medical care. They go from the ER into the hands of qualified people that are going to take care of them. And so whether they're going inside that track there or this new alternate place, they still have hands-on medical care. And so that's the reason we're not using it, is because we don't want to damage the track.
And so how long will the helistop be down? I mean, are they prioritizing that?
They
as
are.
build?
They're prioritizing it. We're anticipating between 1.5 years and 2 years.
Okay.
And so once I can get enough infrastructure in the building, meaning elevators and electrical and the things needed to operate that helistop, I have to have fire suppression also, just in case something went wrong. Once all of those units are in place, the helistop will be put back into service on the hospital. We're salvaging what we have, so we don't have to go repurchase that. You'll start seeing it come down, and we'll salvage that equipment, and then we'll put it back in place. So we'll have that same service on the hospital.
Wow.
So
Cool.
how long is this project altogether again?
It's anticipated
Roughly?
to be 2 years.
About 2
Yeah,
years.
we hope to open the new ORs in the spring of 2024. I'm hoping that the helistop might be the winter of 23-24. We get that back operational. But yeah, we're looking at a 2-year project.
Wow.
Cool. Well, and we're going to be talking more about this and the foundation. We showed a commercial earlier. The foundation is having an event on July the 9th, and it's very involved in fundraising for this project and so on and so forth. And we're working on a video internally to promote that and explain that. And so we're going to have a lot more conversation about this, but this really helps Elaine help us understand the impact, at least, that the construction is going to have on people. And so let's end with that. Let's go back again to the map and
Okay.
talk about how people are, how they're going to get to and from the hospital and so on and so forth.
Okay. And believe me, if we didn't feel this was the safest way to do this project, we wouldn't be closing this. But
Sure.
we're going to close that block from K Avenue to H Avenue. And if you're coming to the hospital, you will want, and you're coming from, again, we'll use the example of Union, you want to turn on 4th Street, take that to N, and then come up that route so that you're bypassing the school and you'll have direct access off of N to the hospital, just as it is now. And then for our southern campus, which has our regional medical plaza, sports medicine, dermatology, neurology, sleep clinic, you will, if you were coming up N, you will want to turn at 4th Street and go over to C and come up and access that from that direction. And this will be in place for the 2-year duration of the project. It's for safety. So please don't hesitate to call us if you think you have a question about it, but we're going to be providing that to people that have appointments. And again, we want to make sure if you had an ER emergency run where you were driving a loved one to the hospital, is making sure you come up that N Avenue access to have direct access to the hospital.
And I've been around construction enough to know, and just from that rendering, you can see that the building actually goes right to the edge of Sunset. If you have a crane and you're moving materials back and forth, that crane is going to be swinging over the top of Sunset.
Yes.
And with those materials. And so you can't have any pedestrians there. You can't have, I mean, that's one of the, I did construction for a while, and one of the most basic things is like, you don't get under a load. If you have something, if you have
Probably
something,
a good idea.
Yeah, if you have,
it's not a good idea. Yes.
Yeah, if you have something in the air, you don't get under the load. It doesn't matter what it is. So yeah.
Right. It really is. There's going to be so much big equipment traffic in there, loads flying through the air. It is the safest way to do this for the public, is to just reroute both pedestrian and vehicle traffic around that construction zone.
Yeah. Well, good.
Cool.
Well, Elaine, thanks so much for being here today and helping us with this, helping explain this. And this sounds like a fun, thorough. Well, I don't know if it's fun for you. I mean, it's exciting.
It's very exciting. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the end result is going to be exciting, and I'm sure that, I kind of sense that you're kind of like, I mean, once you have a project like this of this size that you put your claws into, it's a lot of work, but it's also fun too. It's
also a lot of details, and we're going to try and do as minimal disruption to the public as we can, but being kind of a hub of a lot of people coming and going, we just have to do this to keep people safe. So we appreciate everyone understanding.
All right. Well, thanks a bunch for being with us this morning and helping us explain this. And I'm sure we'll be talking more.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine.
You bet. All right,
Good morning, TJ. What's up, TJ? Good morning. And then Kathy said, why invest all the money? They fly you out for a hangnail. I mean, they have to upgrade. You know what I mean? Like, don't they?
Well, I
It's
think
part
that I think the comment I didn't see it, but fly. I don't know. I mean, that's a deep topic. I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying. Yeah, I'm not going to wade it.
Well, they
I'm
do
not gonna
fly a
wade
lot
into
of
that.
people out of here, right?
Yeah, but you're flying a lot of people out of because of life threatening
Right.
illness also,
Right.
so
Yeah.
yep.
My mom's been flown out of here before.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
Am I allowed to put her personal information out there like that? Sorry, Mom.
yeah.
No, she knows. She tells everybody it's not a big deal.
I mean, that issue of, I mean, it is a peace of mind to know that, if you were to need it, that service is available. So
TJ says he's back home to the cold. Hot as heck in the rest of the country. Somebody was telling me, I don't remember who it was, but yeah, stop yelling at me, TJ. They said that in Boise this last weekend, you know how it was really crappy here? I guess it was like 85 in Boise.
Huh. Weird.
I'm done with this weather, BC. Maybe that's why I slept so long. The weather's got me depressed.
I don't know. I'm gonna get you one of those
Loud
100
alarms.
130 dB alarms.
I
Yeah.
made it. I got all my stuff done too.
You did not make it. Okay.
801.
Yeah, let's not talk about, yeah, it's like you are the dude. Yeah. I mean, you are the dude that is on everyone if they're a minute late, and technically you were about an hour late. You are here at 7 a.m. Yeah. So
Technically I get here at 7:30.
Yeah.
I just get here early.
when you get here at 7:30, I'm nervous. Okay. Yeah.
When
You're
you
gonna
get here at 7:45, it's normal.
If you get here if you're gonna start showing up at 7:30, you need to text me. Say, I'm gonna be here at 7:30. Because if at 7:30 I can't get a hold of you, like, okay.
Uh-oh, he's
I'm
not
on
gonna
my
wake
own.
up.
Yeah.
I made it today though. You've heard that about a million times from people. What, bud? What have you heard about a million times?
Yeah.
I'm not catching what Bud's
Yeah.
saying.
I'm not either. Yeah.
This hospital thing though, they're gonna close down that whole block, huh? A lot of people use that road.
They do. They do. And I think that's the whole point of talking about it,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, how if a company owns, I don't know how it is in other, it's not uncommon. Let me put it this way. It's not uncommon for if a company owns both sides of a street to lobby to close that street so that, I mean, years ago, DNB did that out in Island City. There used to be a road that goes right through the middle of their lot used to be a public lot. Well, a public street. Well, they bought both sides of that road, both sides of the street. And then at some point it became practical to just close that street for private use.
Yeah, but the hospital doesn't own both sides of that street.
No, but what I'm getting ready to say is that it's not uncommon, and it wouldn't be totally. I mean, the school hounds that property. I doubt that they want to sell that. But if you're trying to expand a facility like the hospital, which this isn't going to be the last expansion, they're expanding to meet the needs of the community. So anyhow. I don't know.
So they must have worked a deal out with the school.
Well, I think they're collaborating with them, in some way or another. Yeah.
Because she said they're going to use the school for the field for a drop zone. And
yeah, they got to have some place to stage all of those building materials. So I think I had heard that that the way part of this construction, the way this building is being constructed, it's a little bit modular. So some of those chunks are built off campus and then brought in, and that's probably the need for the big crane is just moving in big chunks of building that's going to. So rather than, it's not a traditional construction project where you're pouring concrete. You know, a lot of times when you do a multi-level concrete facility, you know, you build forms, you pour the columns, and then you pour the floors, and then you let it dry, and you do that. And I don't think this is that kind of a construction. This is more of a modular, where those pieces are built off. They're constructed off-site and then brought in. So they got to have
put together like a puzzle kind of.
Yeah, and they got to have a place to stage all that stuff. So
yeah. TJ says all right. Union Pacific and other companies, along with residents of Jefferson Street, should close it. It's in major need of repavement. Well, of course, but don't even get me started on Union Pacific and them. I'm like to wit's edge. Thankfully, I moved onto this side of the train tracks because I was going to lose it. Like I was probably going to have a breakdown and start throwing rocks at the train. You can't even walk in this town like in the morning or in the evening, like work time, you know, like going to work time, 8 o'clock, 7, well, 8 today, but no, 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock, there's trains blocking that. And if you walk, it's not like you can go around. Like,
well, and it was, you had said once that a Union Pacific employee told you that if they block it for longer,
call.
Well, who do you call? That's what I want to know. It's like,
I guess I could get
that
the number.
That number should be there somewhere. It's like, if you have a complaint, call. I mean, there's so many companies now. It's like, call, but they don't. It goes to some.
It goes straight to the bathroom.
Yeah,
right into the crapper.
There's a difference between making a call and it actually being heard and just calling because you're just covering your rear end, which is a lot of what happens.
You think I don't the viaduct on Second, it's usable if you're driving,
right?
TJ, but on foot, if you're coming down Fur, do you know how long it takes to walk all the way to the viaduct and all the way back around? I mean, it's like it's not feasible if you're walking to work.
Yeah.
There's no way, or to go the other way, to go Island. I mean, that adds 45 minutes to 15-minute walk or a 10-minute walk. I mean, I used to be able to walk from my house on Fur, which Jefferson or not Jefferson. What's the road there? Jackson? Is it Jackson? I think it is Jackson. Jackson and Fur to the studio in like 10 minutes. Now, if the train's blocking and you had to go around, that would take probably 45 to an hour.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's just not. Here you go. Laura says, have a representative. Yeah, right. They ain't going to come on here.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that idea too.
If you have a
can
name,
you find them? Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a name, give it to us. We'll reach out.
I know a lot of people that work for Union Pacific Railroad. But I know a lot of people that wouldn't come on here and talk about why the train blocks the intersection.
Well, the bottom, I mean, we know people who work for them, but they're not in contrul. They're not. Yeah,
they drive the trains and they.
Yeah, no,
engineers.
I mean the Union Pacific. I mean, railroads are like steep in administration. It's like, and
they have a lot of control.
They have a lot of control. And
which
the
is
reason
crazy.
the reason is because they have been here a long time. I mean, those tracks.
Well, they haven't been here as long as the people have.
There's no. I mean, if you do any study of history at all in the United States, you understand that when a railroad track, I mean, the railroad tracks coming through La Grande changed the location of downtown. It used to be up on the hill. The railroad tracks came down. It's like, hey, let's move downtown down there. So they just have a lot of control.
TJ says they will say 3 words: right of way.
Yeah.
I don't remember this ever being an issue as a kid. Like I feel like this didn't start until they changed that law about the
whistle.
The whistle, yeah.
So like maybe they're just doing it to because they can.
I heard that there's like something with the changeover. Like they used to change over like employees up on the hill or like out, like by Starkey or something like that. and there's some issue with that. So now they park the train right downtown, and they so they have drivers, right, that bring the employees to the train.
Right.
And they're doing that changeover right there. So they have to wait for the employees that are getting off to get off the train. I think usually 2 people ride a train. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody knows. They have to get off. The new people have to get on. It takes about 15, 20 minutes most of the time. And so the train's sitting there blocking for that amount of time.
That'd be an interesting thing to look into.
Yeah. I don't know if we would be able to even get somebody with any power to come on and talk about
well,
it.
And
seriously
the employees, the employees know, they know what's going on, and they could probably confirm that, or, but
well, that's where I heard that from.
To actually have someone who is in control of that situation talk to us, I'd be very surprised.
I don't even know anybody that's a high up at the, I don't even think most of them live around here, do they?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of it? Have you ever heard anybody talk about anybody that's like a boss at
it seems like there was like a boss, like a really big railroad guy that lived over in the Pendleton area or something like that. But that was a couple of years ago. So
yeah.
Yeah. TJ, we need you to do. You can be our
you can go hide in a train and ride it. Get us all the information.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah,
we're here riding along. So
that would be funny. You just pop up with the video camera. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
All right. Awesome, hey, why don't you get us out of here?
All right. On this day, which is June 14th in 1940. So we're starting kind of late on this one. Auschwitz concentration and extermination camp opened in Poland. It started out with just Polish POWs, and then later it expanded to include civilian Jews and Gypsies. Approximately 3 million people died within Auschwitz's walls. Wow. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. On this day in 1949, Albert II becomes the first monkey in space. The rhesus monkey was one of several animals used for testing purposes before sending humans into space. Albert survived his ascent to 134 kilometers, which is 83 miles in altitude, but died on his return to Earth due to a parachute failure. 1949. That's not that long ago, BC, when you really think about it. That was the first monkey that we sent up there.
Yeah.
1949. In 2002, an asteroid, a really big asteroid, missed Earth. They called it 2002 MN, and it was a 73-meter lump. Was 3 times closer to the Earth than the moon. And they didn't find it until 3 days after its closest approach to the Earth. So 3 days after it got as close as it possibly did, that's when we found it. That's kind of scary. 73 meters. That's a big. That would cause some damage coming in as fast as it would come in.
Yep.
That's crazy. Okay, so the number one movie, 2000, or no, this would be 1992 on this day. Batman Return. It broke Batman's record for the highest weekend debut in the month of June for a summer release. Batman Returns. Look at that. That's Danny DeVito playing the Joker, right?
Yeah, it is. And I was trying to remember who is the gal in it. I don't know.
I can't.
Those cartoons are not great representations of who actually played them, but
that's pretty close for Danny DeVito, though.
It is.
That's real close. And then the quote for the day: "Believe you can, and you're halfway there." Teddy Roosevelt. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. You think that's true, BC? If you believe in yourself, you think you're halfway there?
I don't. No, I don't.
You just nullified my quote of the day.
I think it's good. It's good for you to believe, but all you have to do is just listen to some of those singers on those talent shows, and the beginning, and it's like some of those people have been told that they could sing their whole life, and then they get on and they're just like, my gosh, somebody didn't tell you the truth. At the same time, there's some people that are diamonds in the rough, and they it's like, wow, where have you been?
Right.
But I don't know.
Let's answer TJ's question real fast.
I
Yes,
like
I've
it.
seen it.
Yeah, I saw it.
So a lot of people say that it's better than the first one. I think that's just because it's made 30 years later or however long ago it was. The CGI and all that stuff's way better. The storyline is very similar, right? I mean, it's about the same, just with his son. But it's a good movie. It's well written. It keeps you involved in it the whole time, and there's some really cool scenes. Like somebody was telling me, like, oh, okay, so there's a guy that I know that was in the Navy, and he said he was trying to see the numbers on the carriers, and I guess they blinked out the numbers on the carriers, and they didn't tell anybody where they were filming it for some reason. So because they used military, carriers and stuff, so they don't know exactly like what carriers they used for the movie, but it was all like shot, like a lot of that stuff was real.
Yeah, and for those that didn't see TJ's comment, is what do we think of the new Top Gun? And I mean, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and it was funny because about the first half of the movie, I'm thinking about the technical stuff and how did they shoot that, and that writing could have been better. I mean, it's just kind of an evaluative thing. And then when they got into the actual training of the mission and stuff, it was like, okay, I'm in. I mean, everything kind of went away, and I was involved in the movie, and it sucked me in and pulled me in, and so that was good. I enjoyed that.
It would have been cool to follow along the shooting of that movie. That movie was shot over 2 years ago.
Yeah,
which
and they
is
delayed
crazy.
it. Yeah,
because
they delayed it coming out. Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I think its numbers crushed the first one too.
Well, and I think that, I mean, not only is it good for the movie, it's good for movie makers and Hollywood,
and people.
But I'm just saying that and theaters. I mean, it has done a ton of revival for to kind of reestablish that. Oh yeah, that's why seeing a movie on a big screen is fun. So,
I know people that have seen it like 2, 3, 4 times.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Like, I'm not going to go watch a movie twice.
That's not my thing either.
I'm not one of those people that's going to go sit in I mean, I might watch it when it comes out again on digital or DVD or whatever.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yep.
All righty. Well, thank you, Eastern Oregon. Appreciate you tuning in.
See you on Thursday.
All right.